Hello, and welcome to your favorite bookish podcast, Fully Booked and Caffeinated. I'm Heather.
I'm Kelsey.
And today we have our book 2 movie adaptation. Yes. Is that how we say it?
Yep, you got it.
Film. I don't know. That was like a tongue twister. And so we're going to be covering The Devil Wears Prada. Didn't even know that this was based on a book.
I heard that the book is not that good. I haven't read it.
Me
But
either.
this is one of those, and we'll get into it, but the casting, how could you have a book that embodies it?
Mm-hmm. Before we dive in, do you want to say what you're drinking?
Oh, yes, I have. Well, I'm drinking out of my Icarus horror cup. You can't really see it that well. But anyway, I have a watermelon lime electrolyte drink.
Well, look at you getting your electrolytes in.
Haven't been drinking enough water today, and that's rare for me, so I gotta pump it up. And this morning I did have a delicious Nespresso concoction because I did end up placing an order. I decided I couldn't wait for pumpkin because I was down to like the shitty flavors that I don't want, like the free sample ones. So I spent $120. I mean, I don't know. It was like buy 8 sleeves, get 2 free. That sounded like a great deal. So
sounds good to me.
But now I have to order more when pumpkin comes out. But it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, I had Melosio. If you're an Nespresso, you know. It was delicious. Anyway, what are you drinking?
Well, we went to Sam's Club before I jumped on here, and I got a nice crisp Dr. Pepper fountain drink. The nice, 89-cent soda.
Nice.
89-cent soda, yeah. Because, and like the pizza combo. Like we got two pizza combos, so it's a slice of pizza and a soda for both together was $5.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Can't beat it. And then this morning I just got a cold brew from Dunkin' with the cold foam. That's like seems to be my Monday go-to because I need something that's really going to pick me up. So
classic.
I know. All right, so The Devil Wears Prada. This is based on the 2003 novel of the same name by Lauren Weisberger, and I think she did 2 follow-ups to it. So there was like 3 books in total. And the movie came out in 2006, so I was a junior in high school.
I don't want to talk about it.
It was directed by David Frankel, who he hasn't really done a lot, but he did do Marley and Me. I don't know if you've ever watched that.
I can't watch it.
I haven't because I will literally cry. Yeah. But he's also directing the upcoming sequel for The Devil Wears Prada.
Okay.
So I looked to see if he was the director, and he is. And then, as you had mentioned, the casting was chef's kiss. We have Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, and Emily Blunt. All amazing in their own
Streep
craft.
Is like... she is Miranda Priestley, and it's so good because she doesn't, from what I can remember, play anything similar to this in other movies like of this exact caliber. So the fact that she's just so fucking good at it, I'm like, no notes. And obviously all the rest of them are amazing too, but she just like stands out.
No, she really does. And she just like plays, she's such like an amazing actress, and she's so like down to earth. And so, but she plays this cool, callous character like so well. Like, she's amazing. Bow down to Meryl Streep, the queen. The film opens with a montage of basically many fashionitas in New York City, and it kind of jumps back and forth between the comparison of the simplicity that is Andy. So Anne Hathaway's character is Andrea Sachs, but she goes by Andy, which is really cute, actually. I forgot how much I love Andy for a girl, and then it brought me back to like 10 things I hate about, or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, because like her name is Andy too, and I'm like, was this just like the thing in the 2000s where girls just like called Andy? Andy is an aspiring journalist, and she's unable to find a job, so she accepts a position as a junior personal assistant to Miranda Priestley, as we said, is played by Meryl Streep, and she is the editor-in-chief of Runway magazine, which is this I guess the equivalent of Vogue, but like this book's version of Vogue. And she still gets the job despite her lack of knowledge of the fashion industry. So when Andy walks into Runway, she's looks just basically like a normal girl and has zero fashion sense, so relatable. And I guess Anne Hathaway just loves glow up movies
Okay.
because like she had a makeover in the Princess Diaries, now she has a makeover in the Devil Wears
I
Prada.
was thinking this. I'm like, why do they keep casting Anne Hathaway as these like quote unquote ugly duckling that they can make over?
Hmm.
And I guess it's because like you can easily just frizz out her hair and be like, oh, she's so ugly. And then all
Yeah.
you need is like a blowout and some eyeliner, and you're like, oh my God, she's stunning.
I
So,
also think that she plays mousy really well
yes.
when she has to.
But then
And
she
so I
plays glamorous well
Oh no,
too.
she
So it's
does.
like,
Yeah. She's so like versatile. So
yeah,
I think that's why she's probably good for a role like this
yeah.
because even though she's gorgeous all around regardless, she's able to kind of come off as meek
And
and
like
mousy.
frumpy and
Yeah, and
yeah.
then
I just think it's
mhm.
funny because she is such an amazing actress and she can like play all these different roles. So the fact
Yeah.
that she keeps finding herself in this role is just so funny.
Mhm. I know. Miranda's treatment towards her employees is rather abusive. She's not exactly the world's nicest boss. And Andy kind of decides that she's just going to tolerate it because she wants to use this connection from Runway to help her find a job more focused on journalism. So even though like this clearly is not her dream job, it kind of fell into her lap in a good way because it's kind of a stepping stone to get into some form of, industry, editorial industry. And Andy immediately fits in very poorly with her superficial, fashion-forward coworkers, particularly Miranda's senior assistant Emily, who's played by Emily Blunt. I thought it was funny, like her name is. I always think it's funny when actors play parts that is the same name as their real name. And Emily is very abrasive with Andy from the second they meet, and she definitely feels that she's superior and better than Andy. And then Andy struggles to adjust to the pressures and irrational demands of being Miranda's assistant. And there's all these things. Miranda's basically, she's like, I need you to go to Africa and bring me back a lion, like tomorrow. Like that's like
Yesterday.
that is like the caliber of her requests. Like they're out of this world. And Andy's like, okay, sure, whatever you need. After Andy fails to arrange for Miranda to be flown back to New York City from Miami in the middle of a hurricane, I was cracking up when Miranda's like, "Oh, it's just like a little drizzle," and then like the lightning like strikes in the back, and you can
That's
just
my
see
favorite. The
the
trees
trees
are
like
sideways.
yeah.
And like,
It's
if you
hot. It's
know
hot.
Florida, a Florida
Yeah.
hurricane is no fucking joke. And she's like, I don't understand the problem. It is simply a sprinkle.
Like literally, she's like, I don't understand. Call everyone you know with a jet. Someone. She's like, call
Mm-hmm.
Vera Wang or like somebody. She says some.
And when
So,
Andy's dad is like, she wants you to call the National Guard, and then she's like, wait, can I do that?
time out. Is that an option? Am I able?
She
Is
would
that
if
great?
she could.
I know. Because she couldn't get Miranda back in time to see her children's musical play thing, Miranda berates her and ultimately breaks Andy's spirit because she's kind of terrible to her. And, it's obviously unfair to Andy. This was something that was out of her control. There was nobody flying through a hurricane. They would have crashed. And so really Andy saved her life, if you think about it. So, but now Andy's just feeling really, really down. And she approaches Runway's art director, Nigel, played by Stanley Tucci, who I love so much. And he plays these like quirky characters so well. Like he's just a really good character actor. And he's also married to Emily Blunt's sister. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think he met her through Emily from this film.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think so. Yeah, because and I can't remember her name, but I know, like, because, like, Emily and like John Krasinski are just always, like, with Stanley Tucci and his wife, obviously. And I just think it's cute. She asks Nigel for advice, and the running phrase of this movie is that women would kill for this job that Andy has. And, you know, Nigel's keep trying to tell her, like, you don't understand, like, you have this job that is widely wanted by any fashionista in the city, even though it's basically a terrible job and you're just Miranda's and everyone else in the office's bitch, basically. But people want it because I guess it leads to really good connections. Like when they go to Paris for Fashion Week, if you get to go, you get basically a bunch of like free shit. And there's just a lot of opportunities for networking. And when they do like the little parties in the city, I always just have like this feeling of like, I just want to be there. I just want to go to one.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see what like the parties in New York City are like, these like fashion celebrity parties.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to figure like people like Miranda who are going to these so regularly, it must be so exhausting to have to glam up for like that one party where she's like, drop me off at 9:30, pick me up at 9:45 sharp. Like she does not want, she's got work to do. No, she doesn't give a shit about that.
She doesn't. And Nigel agrees to help Andy select stylish clothes to wear to work. And I have a few qualms with this film. And like this was one of them when they're like, oh, you know, you're not going to fit in the clothes that we have here. You have to be basically a size -0. And she's like, well, I'm a size 6. And he's like, that's fat, basically. And I'm like, oh my God, like don't get me started.
Yeah. The amount of times that Andy is called fat.
Yeah.
And that she like explicitly says that she's a size 6 and they still keep calling her fat and frumpy and all this stuff. It is very problematic and a very prominent theme in this movie.
Yeah. So I'm curious as to how they're going to address that in the sequel. Like if they're going to go with like a different tenor.
Yeah, like I think it will definitely be more like higher stakes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the issues will be bigger than someone being a size 6.
Yeah. And I just feel like we're kind of in a different climate right now with like women and where
you
they
would
are.
Hope so, because I was actually talking to one of our friends about this the other day. We were on this kind of like body positivity. You know, it was starting to get a little bit better. And now, all of a sudden, with this kind of like pull back towards right-wing media, it's like heroin chic is back in, and white men like, you know, a waifish, young-looking woman without curves because then they look like a child. Let's not get into it. I'm just saying it's still a problem.
But also, like, who gives a fuck what a white man wants?
Apparently, they think that we do. Okay.
Because I don't.
I don't.
No.
Could never be
absolutely
me.
not.
Wait, I want to rewind for 1 second, though, because when I was watching this, I'm like, wow, Nigel is being so mean, because he is mean to her, but it ends up being okay because, okay, so even though Andy is rightfully upset because Miranda treats her like shit and has unrealistic expectations, but the fact is that she needs to like reframe her mindset, and instead of looking at the job like it's beneath her and she just has to like deal with it when so many other people would kill to do it, it's like she kind of has to switch into, no, I want to impress Miranda, I want to do a good job, you know what I mean? Like, so even though he's mean, it reframes her whole motivation.
Yeah, and I kind of think that being mean is Nigel's love language. He's just like, I'm just an asshole to you. And
how else could you work for Miranda?
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of like, if I'm mean to you, but with a side of like humor, then that means like I like you. Like if there's like, you know, and the growth of their friendship was really fun to watch because they're such like an odd couple. Like you
Mm-hmm.
would never think that they would be the ones that would like team up together.
And Andy does take so much, like from Emily, from
Hmm.
Miranda, from Nigel, and
Yeah.
just kind of like lets it bounce off of her. So
Hmm.
she definitely is able to see through it and see, even especially with Emily, like see through
Yeah.
all of that harsh exterior.
100%. I know. I feel like Andy is like, because I think Andy is so normal and she's so human compared to everyone else who works at Runway. She's kind of able to see past the armor that everyone is putting up,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice because you just see like she's just like this. No matter like the trajectory of the film, like she is just like this level-headed woman
Mm-hmm.
who's just trying to make her way in life. And yeah, she gets caught up in the job the more that she's in it, but she's truly just like she has a good heart.
Yeah, and I think it helps her and hurts her. It helps her
Hmm.
because she's able to see that good in people, and then it hurts her because she's not able to just kind of brush it off as like, oh, this is the industry and this is what you have to
Yeah.
do to get ahead. It's kind of like, wait, no, this is so much, like these are real people that are being affected and
Hmm.
blah, blah. So it's definitely like double-edged sword.
100%. But then we have the cue the Andy Sachs change in fashion montage to the classic Vogue by Madonna. The soundtrack to this movie slapped. There
I
were
agree.
a couple bangers. I was like, "Oh, Crazy" by Alanis Morissette. Forgot about this song. Added it to my Spotify when I heard it because I like was like
Amazing.
I completely forgot about this song. And once Miranda begins to notice Andy's change in appearance and her increased commitment to the job, Miranda starts to really see the potential in Andy, and she begins to delegate more complicated and important tasks to her. One of those tasks bringing, in quotations, the book and dry cleaning to her residence every night, which, by the way, you're telling me that they make these girls stay at the office until after 10 p.m. and then she has to go deliver the book and the dry cleaning and then go home and get like what 4 hours of sleep. Also, why were her children awake? It's so
That's a
late.
good point.
Like if it's after, I mean, I don't actually know what time she went. I mean, you see her kind of just like chilling in the office
Mm-hmm.
waiting,
And like
and you can
she's
tell
not
it's dark
allowed
out and she's
to,
by herself.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's not allowed to leave the office and come back.
Yeah.
Like she literally has to wait for the book, which when you said that definitely made me think of Book from Hocus Pocus, and that makes it even funnier.
Yeah, it does. And there's all like these rules. So, like when she gets there, she's not allowed to basically make eye contact with any human being nor speak a word. And she also was like, "Oh, okay, you have to put it in the closet by the door and put the book on the table with the flowers." And like she walks in and there's three doors, like three separate closets, and there's like plenty of tables with flowers. So she's like, and obviously she doesn't want to screw it up because she feels like she's on a positive trajectory right now. And this is when like the children are awake, like, oh, like no, like come upstairs. Like Emily comes up all the time. The one sister's like, huh? And they're like, the twin is like, no, like say it.
Yeah,
Like
which like
she comes up
Andy,
all the time.
you fell
I
for
know.
that.
I know. So she goes upstairs and then she accidentally walks in on an argument between Miranda and her husband. And as repercussions for that, Miranda gives Andy an impossible job of getting the manuscript for the next Harry Potter book.
The
So it's not even
unpublished
published.
manuscript.
Yeah. And basically, if she doesn't do it, she's fired.
Mm-hmm.
So
And she
Andy's like,
has
okay.
like a few hours.
Yeah, she's like, all right, cool. So I'm going to lose my job. And then she like kind of like accepts it. She does reach out to a handsome journalist that she met at a party named Christian Thompson, who was played by Simon Baker, who I also like. Did you ever watch the show The Mentalist?
No, but I've heard people talking about this recently. Why is it coming up again?
It's a really good show, and it has like Robin Tunney in it from The Craft.
I like her.
Yeah, I watched it. I don't think I watched every single season, but I did watch it when it was out, and so I actually like Simon Baker.
I need to look him up and see him in something else because...
Oh no, he's like a complete douchebag in this movie.
And I didn't think he was attractive.
No, but he is good looking in The Mentalist. I just need you to trust me on that.
Listen, I trust you.
So she asks him for assistance to see if he has any ins. But like I said, at this point, Andy kind of like concedes that she's about to lose her job. She calls her boyfriend Nate and she was like, I think this is it. Like, I'm done. But then Christian is able to somehow magically get this manuscript that Andy just bounds and gives to the children. It's like a whole thing. This whole thing when she was like, how did you, I don't get how she could have made copies. I don't get how she like
she had to ran over to Staples and she was like, hey, can you put a nice spiral on here?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like she succeeds and she's obviously surprised Miranda. Like her expectation was that Andy was obviously going to fail. Mm-hmm. Like this was kind of like, well, Miranda set her up to fail, essentially.
Yes. And so, now Andy understands Miranda's language because like when she was complaining to Nigel and she's like, I can do everything right and she won't even say thank you. Now she knows not to expect the thank you, but she knows that if Miranda's not berating her or is speechless, then that means good job.
Yeah, exactly. During this fashionita phase, Andy and her boyfriend Nate, they're like this cute little couple. Like they live in like a janky apartment. Like, they're nothing like there's like no substance to the relationship. Like it's very much just like I feel like a typical New York relationship, if I'm honest. And Nate is not impressed with this journey that Andy's embarking on. And he feels that Andy has changed too much and shouldn't be on the beck and call of Miranda. And she ends up missing out on important events like his birthday. And Nate basically can't handle that Andy has become like the egotistical, shallow women in the fashion industry. Like she's so different from like the Andy that he had met. Which, like, yes and no. I feel like Andy is still the same person. She's just growing into this new side of her. Because I feel like she still has good intentions and like she's still a good person. Like she brings her friends free gifts from like the magazine and stuff.
Yeah, but like she's not selfish about it at all. And she went through this same transformation of thinking that the fashion industry was this like vapid thing and then realizes how much work goes behind it, how passionate people are, how much it really affects people's lives, etc., etc. And Nate is not willing to change his mind. He's obviously very stubborn, but I think what you said is like, I never thought about it this way. I mean, I hate Nate. I think he's the villain of this whole movie, but they never really give us a reason to like him because they don't show any substance from their relationship, which like that's not what the movie's about. But no wonder you don't automatically like him because there's no reason to. You know what I mean? Like the only thing you see of him is him getting mad at Andy for being successful.
And then there's that scene at the bar when she's bringing the gifts to her friends and like Miranda calls her and they're playing like hot potato with her phone, which was like such a dick move. And he's like, I don't, like he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. And it's like, he's not taking her or her job seriously, which is a problem.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine?
You're demeaning your girlfriend's position in life.
Yeah.
Like that's not.
Can you imagine your friends
not cool, bro,
doing this to you? Like,
no, I'm like, this is like, what are we, fucking 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Especially after she gives her friend like a brand new Marc Jacobs bag.
She's like, oh, this bag is like $1,900. Haha, give me your phone. I'm going to answer it, talk to your boss.
I know.
Get you fired. Like, what the fuck?
But basically the two of them obviously end up breaking up. Like, this was no shocker. We all knew that this was coming. As Andy becomes more glamorous and absorbs the runway philosophy, she basically begins to outperform Emily. And Emily's big dream is to attend Paris Fashion Week as Miranda's assistant. And here's my qualm number 2. Emily adheres to extreme diets that endanger her health, and she arrives to work while sick. So not only is she's like, oh, sometimes I just don't eat, and then when I'm hungry, I nibble on a piece of cheese. Okay. And then she just shows up to work violently ill. Like, girl, take a sick day.
Yeah.
Like these are two horrible things. And, you know, being in the fashion industry, I get like that, like Emily knows that. I feel like it's probably the place, if you miss one day, you miss too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's trying to be like this star employee, but coming to work sick is not okay. Everyone needs a break. It's okay to rest, no matter what industry you're in. And the fact that she's just doing these crazy ass diets to basically try to be super skinny for Paris Week.
And the way that she brags about it and talks about it constantly, and just the whole way that weight is referenced or referred to in this movie every single time is derogatory.
I shouldn't be surprised because it is a movie about fashion, and clearly in that world it is very much thin women that don't have any curves or anything to their body. They're very much just super, super thin. And, you know, the topic of weight has always been like a touchy subject for me and everything. And it's just, you know, it's just kind of shitty that this is something that has to happen in movies. Like,
well, and here's,
I mean, this was 2006. So I mean, times were like a little bit different back then, but you know, I really want to move, I want to move the narrative forward of it. You know, every body is beautiful. Like that should be what it is.
Well, here's my issue with it. Like, yes, we know that society has always put these standards. Society and the media has always had these unrealistic standards for beauty. These, you know, gives women all over the world complexes and eating disorders and etc. Society has always done that. The fact that, and like you said, that's expected because this is a movie about fashion.
Yeah.
And the fashion industry. The part that I hate is that instead of just society setting those unrealistic standards and expectations, Emily uses it as a weapon against other women. And that is obviously because of society and because of the messages that, you know, society has put in her head. But at the end of the day, like, you know, when she says to Andy, like, well, you won't even be able to fit in all of the beautiful clothes that they'll get. You won't even be able to enjoy them. Like, it's the fact that she's weaponizing it and not just talking about like, oh, look at how thin I am, but like saying, and look at how fat you are.
I know.
You know, like that's where it really starts to piss me off because it's just showing not only how toxic the societal standards are to women, but how they make us toxic towards each other.
Yeah, 100%. Society loves to make a woman compete against another woman in so many different ways, you know, and it's just so unfortunate.
Because then we don't have to focus on being better than men because we're too busy trying to tear each other down.
And I think because men are scared of the intelligence that women hold. And they know that we, if given the opportunity, we would take over the world.
And why they say that women are too emotional, because anger isn't an emotion, right, guys?
Yeah. So the whole basis around weight in this movie was not my favorite, but it is to be expected, unfortunately. During a charity benefit, during a charity benefit, Emily, who goes very sick, you're just going to this huge event. It's like COVID. Girl, you're going to make all these people sick.
All these rich people all kissing each other's cheeks, and
I can't. So she forgets important details about guests, and Andy steps in to save Miranda from embarrassment because basically Miranda has like these books of every single guest that's coming, and she expects her assistants to tell her who it is so that she looks like she just remembers all these fucking people. And so Emily completely forgets who it is. Andy steps in to save her from embarrassment, and because of her continued outperformance of Emily, Miranda invites Andy to be her assistant at Paris Fashion Week. And Andy kind of really she does push back at first. She's like, no, like this is Emily's dream. Like I can't do that. And Miranda's like, but you will. Like, I'm not giving you a choice, kind of. But then here's the most fucked up thing. She puts Andy in charge of relaying that information to Emily.
It's just so obvious the hold that Miranda knows she has over these women.
I
Because she's
know.
like, oh, well, if you don't go, I'll assume you're not serious. So, like, it's kind of, she might not. And then 10 seconds later, she's like, call Emily and tell her now. And you're like, what the fuck? Okay.
Like, why is it my responsibility? Like, you made this decision.
And also, like, why do you have to call her? She's coming into the office. Stop right now.
Well, because they need the next scene that happens in the movie to occur in order for...
It was totally a Mean Girls, like, Regina George situation.
I know. So while Andy's trying to tell Emily over the phone, Emily's hit by a car. And there's just Hermes scarves in the air floating around, and I hope that a bunch of women ran with them as soon as they grabbed it and made some money off of them. And while visiting her in the hospital, Andy informs Emily of Miranda's change plan, which basically obviously breaks Emily's heart because this is what she has been working so hard for, and now that is taken away from her. And she's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
She's pissed at Andy. She's like, kind of like, how dare you? Like, why would you accept that offer?
Mm-hmm. But then it's like, obviously, if roles were reversed, Emily would step on Andy
100%
to get ahead. But
100%.
She's put more blood, sweat, and tears into the job. So
I know. And like, after everyone hears that she's going to Paris, everyone kind of looks at her sideways and like thinks of her differently because she accepted the offer over Emily. But Emily's not going to be able to go anyways. She's in a fucking hospital bed with like a broken leg. You really think this girl's going to hobble around Paris?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm like, did you even have to tell her she's not going? And also, is she working from her hospital bed? Because no one can be out of the office or away from their desks.
No, and her friends are like mad at her. That was like basically one of the final straws for Nate. He was like, how could you do that? Blah, 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 blah. So now we're in Paris. And while in Paris, Andy learns that Miranda's husband has filed for divorce. Now, this is the only moment in the film that us as the viewers get a moment of vulnerability from Miranda. She's completely clean face, not a stitch of makeup. Her hair is not done up. She's like in a white robe. Like, she's so totally dressed down compared to like every single other scene she is. And you could just like see how much Andy does care about Miranda in this moment, because like she really feels for her, and it's, you kind of get to see that like Miranda isn't as cold-hearted as she's made out to be in the movie, and she does have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And
she makes it a really big point to say like, oh, the media is going to run with this. They're going to have a field day with this. They're going to call me this, that, and the other. And she's like, and I don't care what they call me, but my daughters and my family and all this stuff. And it's like, she's so aware, and it just feeds into this whole thing of like, she's not allowed to have emotions if she wants to be successful. She's not allowed to have the white picket fence and the family if she wants to be successful, because women can't have it all.
No, and like she's so thick-skinned, and this is like the one thing that catches her off guard. And yes, like you can tell, especially when you kind of witness that first argument between them, that this husband doesn't like that like Miranda doesn't have any time for him, because Miranda's world is runway. And so I feel like I'm sure loves her daughters and her husband, runway is definitely her first priority. And so of course that's going to affect personal relationships, because it kind of, you have to have like a good work-life balance, and Miranda does not have a good work-life balance.
And it's kind of like she is so high that she has so far to fall. So it's like one misstep, 1 second of like taking her eye off of the magazine would ruin her entire career, but her family and her personal life suffers because of that.
Yeah. Nigel tells Andy that he has accepted a job as a creative director with the rising designer James Holt. And then Andy's like, does Miranda know? And he's like, yeah, like, Miranda put me up for it. And so I think you kind of have this moment of like, oh my God, is like Nigel like going behind Miranda's back? And he's like, no, she knew. Like,
Yeah.
she, I got the offer. And then Andy's in his hotel tells her that Jacqueline Follet, who is this younger version of Miranda, was being prepped to replace Miranda at Runway, and that he was going to be the editorial director. So he was going to get a big boost in his career. And Andy's basically appalled by this.
Which also, because he is disgusting, and all of a sudden, it's like now that he got her in bed, he's showing his true colors and how disgusting
he's like
he
peacocking.
is.
Yeah.
Yes. And okay, what about, this shit pissed me off when he's kissing her the night before they fuck, obviously. And she's like, no. And he just keeps kissing her. And she's like, no, because like my boyfriend, I just broke up and he just keeps kissing her. She's like, and I had a lot of wine. I'm drunk, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
And then she's like, okay, I'm out of excuses. He's like, great, stop talking. Let's go. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I get that you want to like bang someone in Paris, but you could find a random person on the streets.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Also because he wasn't attractive to me. That's why it pissed me off even more.
Yeah, like his whole character, all the men in this movie suck except for Nigel.
Well, because it's like, I understand if the, what's the word I'm looking for? If like the appeal of someone else is that they're so much better than Nate. Yeah. But first of all, Nate is very cute. And second of all, like, you kind of already knew that this guy sucked.
Yeah.
But just because he paid attention to her and was like okay with her job, which Nate wasn't, she was like, okay, let me just see how it goes. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But then I love this part on the topic of Christian, because he like calls her baby and Andy's like, I'm not your baby. And I was like, girl,
because that shit was cringe.
He said, I was like, yes.
She was like, that was truly
one of my favorite Andy moments, because she like really stood up for herself in that time.
And she didn't come off as like, oh my gosh, I just slept with you and now I'm hurt. She was like, okay, I got what I needed out of this and now I'm never going to speak to you again.
Peace out. See you later.
Love.
And so she like attempts to warn Miranda about the takeover. And again, so you have this moment of like seeing how much Andy is on Miranda's side. And Miranda basically ignores her. She's like, okay, sure, whatever. Like almost you get the feeling that she just doesn't believe her. You know? And they're at this luncheon. And at this luncheon, Christian had explained that this was when the takeover was going to be announced. And so Miranda gets to get up on stage first, and she's going to give this speech, talking about James Holt, this new designer, and, trying to basically give praise where praise is needed to everybody and to herself as well. And in the speech, Miranda announces that Jacqueline is going to be Holt's new creative director, shocking Andy, shocking Nigel, and shocking Christian, because Homeboy was like, well, there goes my editorial director job that I was betting on. Bye-bye. Kiss it bye-bye. And you could just see how crestfallen Nigel is. And there's this part after like the luncheon that, Nigel is like, she'll pay me back for this. Like, and Andy's like, are you sure? And Nigel's like, I hope so. Like I've done so much for her. Like talk about giving blood, sweat, and tears. That's definitely what Nigel has done. And he finally had this position to kind of embark on his own journey in the fashion industry. And in order to save her own back, she kind of sacrificed him. So.
And with his knowledge, like it's not like he didn't know that he was going to get this promotion. Like it was this promise that she then took back. And he said, he was so excited to have like independence, like you said, to, have his own career and not have someone telling him what to do every day, not have to be on freaking eggshells with Miranda every day.
Yeah.
And then now he just has to go back to his normal job and pretend like it didn't just stab him in the heart.
Yeah, exactly. And while Miranda and Andy are in the car on their way to their next event in Paris, Miranda basically reveals to Andy that she was beginning to sniff out this scheme that they were looking to replace her at Runway. And she begins to put the puzzle pieces together. And in that vein, she had to sacrifice Nigel and his ambitions to like keep her job. And in return, Andy is repulsed by Miranda's betrayal of her friend. And then Miranda turns it around and points the finger at Andy and is like, well, you did the same exact thing to Emily. And so now you're kind of stuck in this dichotomy of, all right, now we're just trying to one up each other.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we're both like, okay, we both did terrible things. Sure, I get it, but yours was way worse.
Well, and it kind of challenges this whole idea that Andy has always thought she was better than everyone in the industry because she wasn't concerned with stuff like this. Yeah. And so she tries to be like, well, I didn't have a choice to do that to Emily. And it's like, no, you did have a choice. And like you said, Miranda's betrayal was much bigger and much worse. But at the end of the day, the point is that Andy is starting out with something small like this. Miranda didn't get where she is not doing that over and over and over again. So it's like, no, this is your future. If that's, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And it's like, and it almost feels like Miranda, I don't want to say she's unable to, but she kind of feels like she's better than taking the blame for something. And so in return, she kind of shows people, she's like, okay, well, you can say that about me, but look in the mirror and look at the decisions you've made. So before you come at me and berate me for what I've done, like, are you trying to tell them that you've never done anything super fucked up to someone you love or care about?
It's hard because she never denies it. Like, she does say, oh yeah, I will step on anyone that I didn't get where I am.
Which is true.
Stepping on people, which is 100% true.
You know, especially in that specific industry. Like, I feel like fashion is such a cutthroat place. And again, it's a place where women are pitted against each other and they have to just do crazy shit just to become a higher up.
Well, and especially they don't dive into it, but ageism is as big of a thing as weight in the beauty industry. So like, she knows I'm getting older and they could replace me with someone younger, fresher, cheaper.
Exactly. And then, you know, Miranda approaches Ira, I think his name was
Irv.
I can't remember. Irv. He was like, you know, listen, here's a list of my networking group that people who have promised to leave with me if I ever get fired. So you're going to be SOL because I created this magazine from the ground up. So if you're going to fire me, fine, but then you're going to have to start from scratch with someone who does not have the kind of connections that I have. And so, you know, Irv kind of like sees the error in his ways and is like, all right, fine, you can stay. Like, all right, I guess this is fine.
Miranda makes blackmail look very sophisticated.
She does. 100%. 100%. So not wanting to become like Miranda and realizing that this industry is not the right place for her, Andy quits her job without telling anyone, by the way.
Okay.
She just like steps out of the vehicle and just walks away without giving like 2 weeks notice.
No, okay, I'm so happy you said this because she's in Paris. Her phone is ringing and she throws her phone into a fountain. Like, first of all, how are you getting home? Second of all, like, that's kind of fucked up. They brought you to Paris. At least, like, you could at least tell them you're quitting.
Finish out your work week, you know?
Yeah, and like,
oh my God, I was like,
not for nothing. Girl. Miranda may be, you know, a questionable human being, but she's done a lot for you. Maybe you owe her just like one conversation.
Yeah. So Andy's like, peace out, I'm going back home. And we're a little bit in the future, not much, back in the city. And Andy meets up with Nate, who tells her that he has accepted a job as a sous chef in Boston. Goodbye, see you later. And the two basically leave their relationship at being friends. And Andy's like, well, how am I going to get those nasty ass grilled cheeses that you made in the movie that were burnt? I was so displeased with that when they were like showing his grilled cheese sandwiches. I'm like, that's burnt. That's too crispy. And then Andy has an interview at a major newspaper outlet. And when the editor recounts that he contacted Runway for a reference, Miranda herself faxed him over the reference, and she informs him that Andy was the biggest disappointment she ever had as an assistant and that he would be an idiot not to hire her. So obviously she gets the job.
That Nate wanted her to move to Boston with him, and she said no? Because he was like, they have cheese in Boston.
I think they meant like they kind of left it as like being friends, and that like they're able to repair a relationship enough that she could come visit him as a friend.
Okay. All right. This makes me a lot happier because I was real pissed off.
No. I know. Cause I think I can understand like why it came across that way, but like, cause you can even tell the way, like the way they're looking at each other. It's kind of like a look of, we know this isn't going to work, but we've have so much history. Yeah. Like we have so much history, and our reasons for breaking up weren't nefarious or terrible reasons. So I think that we can, stay friends and come to Boston and I'll make you a burnt grilled cheese. Then it'll be great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it shows that like he doesn't want anything to change. Mm-hmm. And she obviously wants things to change for her career. So she's like, you keep your overly expensive burnt grilled cheeses in that dirty ass apartment.
He's like,
oh my God.
It's like, okay.
It's like, clearly they're working too much and have no time to clean this shitty little apartment. But anyway, okay, that makes me happier. Because I was like, you are not going to Boston with that man.
No, I know. But I could understand why that would be like why that would be something that you would think. After getting the job, Andy calls Emily and offers her all the free clothing that she obtained in Paris. And of course, we have to have that little snarky remark. I'll have to get them taken in because God forbid.
I'll be swimming in them or whatever she says. They'll swallow me up.
Okay. But obviously Emily is very pleased and tickled by this offer. And she like turns around to the new assistant and it was like, you have very big shoes to fill with her broken leg and crutches.
She's just hobbling around. I can't believe Miranda would let someone hobbling in her.
Literally.
Does not seem like her vibe. But that's what I was talking about with like Andy just ignores these harsh exteriors. She ignores the horrible jokes at her expense. And she knows that Emily is secretly happy and thankful, and even if she can't say it. So it's like
100%.
It's like
she can read these women.
Politics.
Yeah, like 100%. Like she understands that they have to put up this front because that's who they've become in this specific industry. And Andy can spot the lie. She can just see that they do have good hearts. They still suck, but they do have good hearts.
Underneath that tough skin they had to get over the years.
Exactly. While walking past the Runway office building, Andy sees Miranda and the two lock eyes. And Miranda just like gets in the car, doesn't acknowledge her. Andy like waves and smiles, and Miranda's like stone faced and was like, bye bitch.
But that's basically like a marriage proposal from Miranda. That's
I know.
That's as, happy as she gets.
Yeah, and so then you just kind of see like as soon as like Miranda gets in the car and she gets no acknowledgement, Andy is just like, she kind of like laughs it off. She's just like, you know what? Like, that's just how Miranda is. And like, again, like you said, I'm just going to let that roll right off of me. Like, I can't change who these people are. But while Miranda is in the safety of the vehicle, the film ends with her smiling as Andy walks by. And in this moment, you realize how proud Miranda is of Andy and the woman that she has become since she started at Runway. And it's so true because the transformation of Andy from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie is it's great. Like it's a really the trajectory is so well done because she comes in, she starts this movie off as, like we said, meek and mousy, and she doesn't know her worth at all whatsoever. She's in a kind of a substance-free relationship. She doesn't really have anything going for her. Her dad is still giving her rent money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she just kind of is like in like a shitty place. And throughout her experience at Runway, while abusive and pretty much terrible, she's comes into her own, and then she goes through like this makeover, and you know, as much as like it seems terrible, sometimes a woman just needs a makeover, a fresh new start, and they become a new woman, like without it being like in any kind of like terrible way. Like you get a haircut, you go to the hair salon, you get a haircut, or you get it dyed, like you feel like a brand new fucking woman when you leave that salon. You're like, I could take on the goddamn world.
Yeah, and it's literally just about that confidence. And while at the beginning she was kind of wearing it as a costume to fit in, then you see that she's definitely becoming more comfortable. She's actually putting outfits together by herself. She loses weight, which I hate, but she's like, it's becoming a part of her everyday life. And then after she leaves runway, she's still dressing cute. She's still taking care of her appearance. And it's like, she can still have that part of her life without letting it run her life.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, like she gains this confidence and becomes this, I don't even want to say new woman. She just becomes this better version of herself that's clearly going to lead her to success.
And is going to choose herself, which is why she didn't go to Boston with Nate.
Yeah. And while Miranda is a terrible, terrible boss, she is responsible for that. She had a heavy hand in creating the Andy of today.
And that was one of her points of, this is not just some vapid fashion magazine. Like, we are responsible for people's lives in so many different ways.
I will say, though, some of the fashion choices had me questioning a lot.
Bruh.
I'm like, why does
that
look good?
Hold on. Let me just see what I wrote in my notes, because there are some very horrible hats, but amazing jackets and boots. Andy wore some of the ugliest fucking hats I've ever seen.
I know. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't remember those ever being in style. I mean, I didn't live in New York City.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
I mean, fashion in major cities is so different than like us and our podunk towns.
Which is crazy. Like, because we're in the tri-state area, we do get access to trends and stuff so much faster than like Minnesota or something. But it's one of those things, like, it just seems so outrageous. And then Dolce & Gabbana makes, puts it on their runway, and you're like, oh, a trash bag is a dress? Okay.
When she said, how do you spell Gabbana? I died.
She's like, hello?
And they just hung up on her.
No, my favorite is when they're like, I need 10 to 15 skirts. Did she say what skirts?
What
colors,
skirts?
size, style, anything? And she's like, yeah, she always explains all of her decisions to me.
I know, like, that was like a running joke of the movie that, like, yeah, like, of course Miranda explained in exquisite detail what she wanted. No, I have to dive deep into her mind and figure it out for myself and pray to God that I'm correct.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's just, like, crazy because, the repeated statement of girls would kill for this job, it's, like, sad in a sense because, okay, no, you shouldn't want to kill for a job that's ultimately going to kill you. Like, it's going to run you the fuck out. Like, you're going to be so burnt out. And it's not even, like, a good job. Yes, it leads to, like, good connections and networking. And you could have a great life like Andy does from it. But that's not going to happen 99% of the time. And it sucks because you have, like, these girls that go into careers like this and they get their asses handed to them and they can't survive. And it's just, like...
And it has them rethinking everything they've ever wanted.
It breaks their dreams. It breaks their spirits. And, like, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that that's kind of like one of the themes of this movie, that like girls would give their left arm to be treated like shit.
100%. Like, this whole movie is about ambition, but with, a very select few men, it is about female ambition. And it's about like how, like we talked about, women have to tear each other down in order to bring themselves up. And it's just like a tool of the fucking patriarchy to pit women against each other so that they have no time to pit themselves against men. And the fact that women can't have a path to success. They have to step on other people to get what they want. They have to betray other people and hurt other people. Whereas men, people just move out of the way and create a path for them. And if they do have to step on someone along the way, it's understandable because they were just, ambitious. And Miranda even says it when she's talking about, or Andy says it about Miranda, where she's like, yeah, if she was a man, no one would be calling her this ice queen and talking about how difficult she is. They would just say that she's amazing at her job.
Exactly. 100%.
And it's just, it's horrible. And it's because like not only women in the workplace, but then it's amplified because of this female centric industry.
No. Every portion of being a woman, like we're just held on this pedestal that we're never going to fucking reach. In work, in motherhood, especially, like I'm becoming a mom. I have now seen this whole brand new side to motherhood and how society expects us to act and be. And it's just like, holy shit, like really, the world really just doesn't want us to do what we want to do. They want us to be cookie cutter in every possible way that they want.
Control
and we're
us.
not allowed to have like opinions. We're not allowed to do things differently. And it's just like, it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. And
it's insanity.
That whole thought of like putting us on a pedestal, because then we have so much farther to fall. Then any one mistake is criticized and amplified. And which is why, I mean, we see it especially in this movie, like any little mistake that anyone does gets completely amplified, completely blown up. It's a leak where things can just start to get out of control.
Yeah.
So they can't give any leeway. And of course, it's harder for women to be in power because of this, because look at how much opposition and all the shit that we have to fight against. Not to mention other privilege and other setback. I want to talk about it. Women are DEI, okay? That's all we're trying to say. If you think you're not
Truly,
DEI,
though.
you are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a man-eat woman world for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why like I have a love-hate with this movie. Like I loved so many aspects of it, and it's been a very long time since I've watched it. I was in my youth when I watched it, and I was blinded by society at that point. And now obviously being a woman in my mid-30s and seeing how fucked up the world is, I was like, oh god, I hate this. Like I hate certain things in this movie, and I hate what it's trying to portray to women. Because then young girls are going to watch this, and they're going to think that this is what they have to be. And like, no, you don't. But I grew up like that. I grew up thinking that this, if I wanted to be successful and I wanted to be wanted, I had to be a skinny bitch. You know what I mean? And so like, I hate that that's such a heavy-handed part of this movie. I get
this
it.
Was a common
I understand
theme.
it, but I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, and look at how many movies there are like this. Like 13 going on 30. Like there's just so many, and it's like
I know.
I've definitely seen this several times, but the last time I watched it in full was a while ago, and I knew that there was the stuff with the weight, but I did not realize how much and like
agree.
How it's not just like offhanded sarcasm or offhanded jokes. It's like a fucking theme of this movie, and it's gross. And the fact that at the end there are resolutions to all these other like qualms that we discussed, and like Miranda's behavior and Andy's behavior and her relationship, blah, blah. There's no resolution to this fucking weight thing besides Andy saying, wow, I'm finally a size 4. Like it is literally, it just gets worse.
Oh my god. I've never been a size 4 in my entire life.
My thigh could not fit in a size 4. Are you fucking kidding me?
So, oh my god. Anyways, I digress. That's the movie. Anything else that you want to talk about before I harp anymore on my issues with weight and society?
Listen, that was a big part of it. Yeah, I think we touched on all of it, just like the whole way that women are portrayed, and what you mentioned, that like this is a movie for women. Women are watching this movie. So if you are younger, more impressionable, you want this kind of future, you want this kind of career, this is how you think that you have to get it. There is no message at the end that this isn't what you need to do. The message at the end is you either decide if you want to be the person who cuts people's throats or you decide that you want to go do something else.
100%. 100%.
So, yeah, whatever. We covered it all. I don't know.
All right. So our rating scale is out of 10 brand new Marc Jacob bags.
I'd like a brand new Marc Jacobs bag.
So would I. Do I know what that means? Absolutely not. But sure, I'll take one.
Well, the bag that she gave her friend was ugly. But there were some other okay bags. There were beautiful coats. And those like thigh-high
I will take
Chanel
some of those
boots.
They won't fit, but I'll take them anyways.
Those were beautiful. Okay, let's see. I forgot to think about what I was rating this.
That's okay.
I'm going to go 6.5. Is that bad?
No, I'm higher than you. I wouldn't have expected that.
I was going to go higher, but then I was like, no, this movie really pissed me the fuck off. Yeah, I was going to go 7. I'm going to go 6.5 because, well, like we said, the casting, absolutely incredible. Like, Meryl Streep is just chef's kiss. I could not see anyone else as Miranda Priestley. Like, she embodies it so perfectly. And I love her. And like, this movie is quotable. It's like nostalgic in the way that early 2000s movies are. I also love Anne Hathaway. I think that she's amazing. I cannot believe how they don't look any older. And yet I do. But I digress. Yeah, so I think this movie's like so well done. I kind of do want to read the book. It's probably even more problematic if I had to guess.
I know. I'm sure it is.
And I'm super excited for the sequel. But anyway, there was just so much of obviously like the fat-centric stuff. The fact that at the end there was like no real resolutions besides just like Andy moving it along and getting everything she wants kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, all I remembered from this movie was that I hated Nate, and that's still true. That's still fucking
to this
true.
Day, that is still an accurate statement.
Still true, but I also hate a lot of other people, and I forgot that. So, good for me. What did you rate it?
7.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, like, but okay.
The casting truly was amazing, and the chemistry between the cast was so good. Like, you just really believed in Andy and her story. And even when she was kind of making the wrong decisions, you were understanding as to why she was making those positions, because she has to learn. Like, she's never been thrown into this kind of life. And so it's understandable that not every road she takes is going to be the best one. So, yeah, you know, and it was a strong movie. Like, it was good. Like, it was good. And just, like you said, Meryl Streep as Miranda was amazing.
Well, and it
was funny. And it was funny. It was so funny.
It was funny.
I laughed out loud a couple times.
And it does age well. Like, this is still a great movie to watch. Obviously there's the problematic stuff, but it was problematic when we first saw it too. So it's not like,
yeah, like it's 20 years old next year.
It's not crazy. I don't say
That's
things
crazy.
like that to me.
Yeah, because it came out in 2006. So I'm sure that there's going to be a 20th anniversary, and it's probably going to be the lead up to Devil Wears Prada 2. If I had to guess,
which I am excited for.
I am too.
Who knows what they'll do with it?
Not me.
Not us, but we'll go watch it.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. That's all you got. That's all I got. That's all we
That's all we have. We are
together. If you like what you heard, please make sure to follow, subscribe, and rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you listen to us on. If you have any book recommendations or questions for us, you can email us at fullybookedcalfpod@gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at fullybookedcalfpod to see our upcoming reads. Thanks for checking us out, and remember,
if you need us, we're fully booked.
Bye!